Very good morning to everyone present here. So, students, you're most welcome in civics classes. As you know, that chapter number 2 is going on, and we are discussing about power and functions of president. So, students, today we are going to discuss financial powers, military power, judicial powers, as well as discretionary powers of president. So, these four kind of powers we'll discuss. With this, I want to revise that yesterday we have discussed about diplomatic powers, legislative powers, and executive powers. So, students, this topic, as I told that all the powers and functions of president may contain one question that may be of 10 marks. So, you have to go through. I hope you have completed your work and you are learning well. So, let's begin today's class. First, we are going to discuss about financial powers. So, as a president, every bill which is kept in the house should have the recommendation of the president. Means every money bill which is kept in the house should be approved or should be recommended by the president, then only it can be kept. So, second one, we are going to discuss about annual budget. So, that estimate of income and expenditure of union government for the coming year, and finance minister on behalf of president. So what is budget? Budget is the estimate of income and expenditure of government of a whole financial year. So while we are keeping that budget in the house, who is keeping? That is finance minister. So finance minister has to take that recommendation from president before keeping that annual budget in the parliament. So first president is going through the budget, then only it is being kept in front of the MPs or in parliament. So clear. Third one, we are going to discuss that financial statement is also laid before the parliament in the beginning of every financial year on behalf of president. So finance minister is keeping that financial statement, that is also on the behalf of president. Means by the recommendation of president only finance minister can keep that financial statement. What is annual financial statement? Means that income and expenditure record of government during the financial year is known as annual financial statement. So last point number 4 we are going to discuss that president can authorize withdrawal of advance from contingency fund of India to meet that unforeseen expenditure. So what is unforeseen expenditure here? Maybe that natural calamity, maybe that any man-made calamity like train accident, maybe plane accident, or maybe that disastrous event, earthquake, floods, drought conditions. For these conditions, president can withdraw that money from the contingency fund. Only president can do so. So, such expenditure should be subsequently approved by parliament. But whenever the parliament will be in that session, or if it is there, then parliament has to approve that one about that matter, whatever is withdrawal by the president. So, last point is it is given in a book that we are going to discuss. After every 5 years, so president appoints a finance commission. So, finance commission, you know well, what is finance commission? That commission which goes through that work of government, that is known as finance commission. So, it consists that chairman and other members. So, the commission makes a recommendation to that president on financial matters. So, what is the task of this finance commission? It is going through that country's financial condition and giving recommendation to the president. And president is going through that recommendation, and he may discuss with the finance minister with the same. And annual budget when we are going to prepare, then finance commission recommendation may be kept in mind. So finance commission is appointed by the president. So these were the 5 points in the financial matters. I want to review all these one. First one, money bill cannot introduce in any house without the help of without the recommendation of president. Second one, that annual budget which is kept in the house by the finance minister, that is approved by the president first. Third one, that financial statement which is laid in front of the parliament, that is also approved by the president. Fourth one, that contingency fund, president can withdraw the money in case of natural calamity, but should be approved by the parliament. And last one, we are going to discuss chairman and other members of the finance commission are appointed by president. So these were the financial powers of president. Now we are going to discuss military power. So we know well that president is that whole soul of military, air force, as well as military, air force and navy. Supreme commander of all the armed forces. So he appoint chief of these all three armed forces, and now one more designation is created, CDS, combined of defense staff, chief of defense staff, sorry, I would like to say. So chief of defense staff is also there, that all the persons are appointed by the president. So president is having the authority to declare the war against any country. No other person is having the authority in that country to declare the war. So I hope these three powers, military powers, are clear. Now going the next topic, that is judicial powers. So if we are discussing about judicial powers, so president is not answerable to any court. What does it mean? That no case may be there on the president till when he holds the office of president. Means till when the president is president, no case may be there against the president, because that president is supreme and he appoints chief justice. So chief justice cannot file the case on president. So no criminal suit can be initiated against him during his office. Same thing is there. No criminal case may be issued by any court against the president till when he is in the office. And next one, that pardon and reprieves, respites and remissions, means all that petitions which are given for reconsideration after the Supreme Court, president is having right to finalize. If president is willing to take the advice, then he can take the advice of Chief Justice of India and he can finalize, but final decision taken by the president. So one example you can go through in case of Afzal Guru, when president had declared that he should be hanged on, then again petition was there in Supreme Court. So that thing is there. Punishment ought to be suspended or remit or commute or sentence of any prison, convicted for offence. So all these cases, every kind of case may go to the president after Supreme Court if that person or that victim or that convict is willing to go for mercy petition. So in case of every cases where the punishment or sentence is by the court martial, means court martial is that army law. So army law cannot be seen by that any court. So court cannot interfere in the army matters. So that can be issued by the president only. So in case of army law or in case of court martial, president can only give the pardon. Next one, in all the cases where punishment or sentence of an offence against any law relating the union concurrent list. So and all the issues which are linked with that union concurrent list, union and concurrent list beside the state list, president can listen the cases and he can give the pardon. And last one, that in cases where there is a death sentence, in case of death sentence, president can pardon if he wants. Otherwise he can return that petition, and in that case that decision of the Supreme Court will be finalized one, or the decision of High Court will be finalized one. No other changes are there if president gives back the petition to the court. So now we are going to discuss about last point of today's topic, that is discretionary power. So we have to understand first what is discretionary power. means power in the hand of president which he can enjoy himself. Means usually we know that president is taking the decision on the advice of prime minister, but here we are discussing about discretionary powers where president has to decide himself. No other help or prime minister uh, may not interfere in that matters. So in that case president has to decide. So let us go through first case we are going to discuss. Appointment of the prime minister in situation of no single party uh, commands the clear support of majority in the Lok Sabha. So in that case, if hung government, if hung parliament is there, hung parliament means no party is getting the majority, then president is having right to call any person or any leader of the party which he thinks so he can make the government. So president can take the decision in that case, and he can appoint the new prime minister on the advice of outgoing prime minister, or he can take the decision himself. Who may have lost the election or support of the house. So in case of mid-term election, suppose that prime minister have lose the majority in the house, so prime minister can recommend in that case. But in case of fresh election, president is having full authority to call that any party leader for his oath ceremony and to prove the majority in the house. So it depends on the totally concern of president. No other party can interfere, no prime minister can interfere. But in case of midterm election, prime minister who is losing that majority can recommend to the president. So now we are going to discuss point number 2, appointment of a prime minister in case of sudden death. So if in case of sudden death of prime minister, president is having right to appoint working prime minister. For example, by assassination, in case of Mrs. Indira Gandhi, then Gulzari Lal Nanda was appointed as that prime minister. So he can appoint any person working prime minister or any leader he can appoint immediately as a leader, or party is electing any not able to elect that particular person for as a leader of prime minister, then he can appoint any person which he thinks so is appropriate for prime minister. So that is under the consideration of president only. In case of sudden death of prime minister, he can appoint prime minister according to his concern. So now point number 3, when ruling party has lost the majority or support of the Lok Sabha, or when a vote of no confidence may have been passed. So as I was discussing that when no confidence motion is passed against that prime minister, then president is having right to call opposition leader for forming the government or to declare the midterm election. So the discretion of president to either dissolve the house or to call another party to form the government, so that is depend on the prudence of president. So now point number 4 we are going to discuss. President can dismiss the ministers in case of council of ministers loses confidence of the house but refuses to resign. So as I have discussed about censure motion before, so in case that any minister, council minister has lose that confidence in the house but not willing to resign, then dismissal may be there by the president. So if prime minister is saying to resign any council of minister and he is not being resigned, then president is having right to dismiss the particular minister. You have seen the many examples that many times that prime minister is changing that ministers. So how it is being happen means prime minister is saying them to resign, and they are resigning and new ministers are being appointed, and if they are not willing to resign, then president is having right to dismiss. So that's why we can say so that president can use his right to dismiss the minister if they lose the confidence in the house. So these were the topics for today which we have discussed. Tomorrow we'll discuss the another topic. Till then, have a nice day. Stay home.